engineer. Yeah,
Hello.
and we'll see who else shows up.
Okay.
I'm assuming we'll get 3 or 4 or 5 more people, I think.
Okay. And what are we doing exactly?
Yeah, well, we've never done this, as I told you.
Right.
So we're just going to take our cues from you and try to see how much of a mock talent show we can do. Yeah.
Oh, who's going to host it? Gay? Are you? Are you the host?
It's
I
my
think
account, and I'm here. I'm happy to assist in any way I can.
the way that I'm thinking about it is the people with technical skills will be the engineers. Is that what you're, and in that case, that's where I'd put Gay as an engineer.
Well, somebody's got to be the first person or host.
Now, you tell me what you think, Gay. I was thinking Bob Klein. He has radio DJ experience, but he doesn't have a lot, he knows very little about technical. And so, now the thing is, Ruth, some of those people who are planning to be the key people are not here tonight. So we have stand-ins.
Right, right.
And,
well, I'll go over how we did it.
Yeah.
So basically, I created a WFMU Zoom account, an unlimited account, so that we wouldn't have to worry about the amount of people.
And you're recording this, aren't you, Gay? Okay,
someone's
good.
recording it because I see it recording.
Oh, good.
So what's happened is that I create a meeting, technically. And in our case, we connected that meeting to an Eventbrite event, so we could sell tickets.
Which we have not done yet.
Okay, so Eventbrite has the capacity to set up an online event as opposed to just a regular event. And once you do that, it'll actually ask you, well, where are you doing it? Well, Zoom. So once you create the connector, then it'll actually go and show you your upcoming Zoom events and ask you to pick the one that should marry together. So now you're selling tickets, and Eventbrite's taking a bunch of work from you by sending out emails. Hey, your event's in 3 days, or hey, your event's in 5 hours, and here's your entry. It does two things. It creates the entry for the Zoom event, but it also prevents people from stealing their way in.
Well, let me ask you, if it's doing this all in advance, you don't want them to enter the event until the day.
They don't give you the actual entry until about 5 minutes of.
Oh, okay.
But they do is they remind you that you have an online event, and they also reminds you that if, say, I go post something in the online portion of the event, like a instruction of how to set your Zoom up, it'll tell them that, hey, WFMU just posted some instructions or whatever. It's a nice page. It's a page that's connected to the regular event page. So that's the first thing we do.
Okay.
All right, so when I host, so I become WFMU technically, and I'm the host. Once I establish host, I have my 2 people, let's say, who become my co-hosts. So next to my name right now, Gay, you should be able to make me a co-host. If you open the participants and they come up on the side, you should be able to click next to me and make me, you've made me a co-host. Now those co-hosts help let people in, mute people's microphones, throw people out. So far out of all the events we've done, we've only had to throw out 1 person. Not bad, considering. It is WFMU. So that's what your co-hosts are there to assist you. Your co-hosts, in some cases, like in mine, when we did the karaoke, the host was able to give me hand signals, help me out. Because sometimes some people didn't have their mic set up correctly, so the level of the actual karaoke audio that I was playing would be a little loud or a little too soft, and she'd give me the So I kind of kept my eyes on her most of the time. I always tried to keep her in my screen so she could help me out.
Now,
So-
here's Lonnie. Lonnie is one of our engineers as well.
Mhm.
So we're hoping that he can
Hello.
make
Hello.
sure that, and this is Carol, and Jim Johnson's coming on.
Okay.
And again, I don't know why this only happens to me on Zoom. I have to turn my audio all the way up and it's still not, I can't hardly hear you all.
Which microphone are you using? Microphone and
Please?
speakers. When you go into the Zoom audio settings, what speaker or where are you listening?
Well, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for where those settings are.
Next to the little microphone, there's an arrow. Click on it.
Okay.
Lower left.
Yeah.
The settings are there.
Okay. I always use my built-in audio, so let's see. Let me try changing that. Or let me check audio settings. Okay. Okay.
Well,
Let's
I hear
see.
you loud and clear, Lonnie.
He's having trouble hearing
Okay,
us.
okay. I found it.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Now I had the output level was way down for some reason.
Yeah, it happens.
I don't know why.
Okay, so you're all good
Okay,
now?
so I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, as in your case, you're going to have say 5 people who are going to be your talent and however many audience members. I set up Zoom to mute everyone on the way in, so no one's mic is open. And then we put up a little video and music, sort of my way of a waiting room with instructions and, hey, welcome to our event. We'll be starting in a few minutes. And from there, who's the actual physical talent or host of this event?
The person who is going to be the actual host probably is not here.
Okay, so this
Um,
person will cue whoever's doing the Zoom portion that they're
Uh-huh.
ready to start.
Okay, when Bob comes, he's going to be, I hope he gets here.
Mhm.
He's going to be the stand-in host.
Okay, so if it matters to you, I usually do the video in VLC and my walk-in music in QuickTime because I'm using an Apple computer. And then I could fade the audio down, pop from the video to the actual host. Because once they start talking, Zoom will automatically click over to them. You can, at that point, spotlight them so they stay in the middle and nothing changes until you unspotlight. But as long as they're talking and everyone else is muted, it doesn't really matter.
Does all that make sense, Gay? I'm not sure. Do we have capabilities of setting up a video in the waiting room or I mean, we could do it simpler, right?
You don't have to do anything. I just do that.
Yeah, yeah.
I admit people when they're admitted, instead of seeing me sitting there waiting for them, I just put up a video. I share an advanced share in my screen, so I have computer audio, and then I have a video. It's better than looking at me.
During the waiting room, couldn't you just put a share screen, a graphic?
Yeah, you can do a plain graphic. I just happen to like to use a video file.
With instructions that, like, here's why it's
That's
gonna work.
exactly what we do.
So where do you set up the waiting room settings? Is that a map?
Well, I don't use the traditional waiting room. The settings you're looking at right now, where we are, all I do is instead of you share your desktop or your VLC or whatever you're using with an image or video. I have a guy that makes me fancy GIFs with information on them, so it's a little bit more fun.
So people in the waiting room can still see your shared screen?
No, they're not in the waiting room. You've put this up and you admit them. But what they get when they're admitted to your event is a graphic and or music or whatever you choose.
It's playing in the actual meeting.
Correct. It's playing in the meeting. So when they join the meeting, rather than seeing my mug sitting here waiting for people, they see whatever you want. I like the animations. That's my choice. You can do just a plain still file. You can do whatever.
Okay. So is there a specific time at which there's a cutoff and anyone that comes late can no longer get in? Or-
I was slick about that. I find that lots of people like to buy a ticket to an event late,
Mhm.
like maybe right when it starts or 15 minutes after. I gave the cutoff on ticketing half an hour. I didn't, and then at that point, anyone can join the Zoom event. I'll let them in up to the last second. If they're that late, tough noogies, but
Mhm.
they can join whenever they want. People
So
will be late.
They could join a half hour, 45 minutes.
Sure,
and
why not? As long
Okay.
as you let them in, why not? I wouldn't, personally, I don't believe in stopping anyone. I will stop ticket sales, but I won't not let someone in unless there's someone we don't want.
Is there a
Oh.
reason to wait until an act is over or anything, like just like you would a live theater, you wait and usher people down in between acts,
Yeah, because it's not,
You're not going to disrupt them.
it's not as disruptive. That's why I also have everyone muted on their way in the settings. It's not like people walking in. They just
Yeah.
magically appear. Like right now, Kay Owens is waiting to be admitted.
Who wants to let him in?
Oh, I'll
Only
let 'em
I
in.
can. I can, and you can't. Oh, you let him in before me. So yeah, why not? Let people in.
Well, and then some people are going to lose connectivity or something and have to come back in.
Exactly. There's always
So-
going to be people like that. Especially people on cell phones. They're going to go in and out.
I had a question. You said something about karaoke
Mm-hmm.
that you use, and I was just wondering, I didn't think we could have proprietary music in talent shows.
Well,
And
when
karaoke, you have proprietary music,
Copyrighted music.
copyrighted music. Yeah.
I just happened to find already built karaoke type items on YouTube and happened to download them. So I've got probably 200 of them about now.
Because Lonnie,
Technically, you can be in violation if the song is copyrighted.
Correct.
I was just wondering because
but
Lonnie
since
is our tech guy, and
But
and I was going to do a karaoke song, but he said we couldn't do that. So
Well, technically, it's a private party.
right, more I think about it, it's a private party. The problem comes in is that you're fundraising off of it. You're selling tickets. That's where the copyright trolls that look for people to sue. That's the deal there. If it was a private party and you weren't selling tickets, they probably couldn't do anything. But the minute you sell tickets or fundraise off of something and it's got copyrighted music, ASCAP will sue you. I have personal experience with that in a venue here in Louisville.
Okay, but we don't want to get sidetracked.
Right,
Let's
right.
keep going, because especially you, Lonnie, I
Right.
want you to learn this. Okay.
Do
Oh.
you,
So anyway, you have your talent. I'm going to assume you've gotten your talent on a half an hour before you actually let ticketed people in, and you've discussed the order. You've discussed how long their bid is going to take and anything else you need or they need to know. And then whoever's your physical host will announce your show, and we'll call the first talent up. They'll do their thing, and then you can I'd assign them a number or some identifier so that the people in the audience, when they get to vote on the winner of the talent show, they know that Jane Doe is number 12. Because in the end, what we did was we asked people to hold up their number. And what we did was we told everybody to hold still, and we screenshot the gallery. And if you had more than one page of the gallery, it was 3 of us doing it, so we each were responsible for a page. We each looked at those pages from our screenshot because it was easier than making people hold things forever. And while that was going on, we had like station manager Ken did a little comedy thing while we were tallying up the winner. And then we were texting each other and I said, I have 8 people for number 12. What do you got? You know, and we each came up with a winner. That's the simple route.
Is everyone's gallery view the same? I thought they could vary. So if
Well,
I got,
for your purposes, your gallery view is all that you care about.
right,
You
but if
know,
I get a screenshot and Ruth gets a screenshot, but mine's not the same as hers.
well,
like,
the when you do the view,
Yeah.
like right now, there's not many of us, so I have everybody. We just made a decision that the gallery we had so many people on was broken up into a whole pile of pages. So we each were responsible for screenshotting a page.
Is that how you're planning to do it, Ruth? Ruth Newman?
She's muted.
I don't know if she heard me. I think she
She's
may have.
muted.
Ruth, did you hear my question? Ruth Newman?
I don't think she's listening either.
Yeah, I don't think she hears. Ruth, are you there? Are you there, Ruth? You're muted. You're muted, Ruth. Ruth,
Might have to contact her.
muted.
Because I'm trying to get Joe Hubrick on. I'll be right back. I'm just trying to get Joe on, okay?
Thought we lost her.
Do you have a video of previous events that you've done that we can watch so we see the transitions and get a better feel for the rhythm and everything? No?
We didn't bother to record them.
Do you have scripts that you've used or anything like that?
This is WFMU. They don't do that.
Okay, I'm back.
Script.
Sorry.
No,
And do you ever go live on Facebook or anything like that?
no. Facebook has algorithms that don't seem to like WFMU. We occasionally, DJs will use Instagram. We have our own streaming, so we don't need Facebook Live per se. We use Ustream. So when we we're doing our finale via, that'll be something you can watch. We're doing our marathon finale, which will be like a karaoke type event live on Ustream,
When is
which will
that?
also be on the homepage. I believe that's the 21st.
Of March?
Yep.
Nice.
Starting at 7 p.m., I think. So I'm going to run Zoom through a video switcher and switch between the DJs who are singing over pre-recorded tracks made by other DJs. And then I'll be playing vintage footage in between while my boss talks and does the, pledge stuffs. So that we always have some sort of video going. So I'm actually creating that quickly since they just told me I was doing this. So that'll be pretty choreographed. And you'll probably, if you pay real close attention, you'll see Scott giving me hand signals. He'll be hosting on the Zoom portion. And each will be calling up a DJ. And when they're ready, I'll play back audio only. In this case, it's not a karaoke. But you'll see the screen sharing because you see the screen sharing. But you'll see where it says audio is being shared from WFMU, which is going to be the name of that computer. I will also be on a second computer. I'm actually running 3 computers for this one. A little crazy.
Do you have more than one computer, Gay? I mean, can you be looking at 2?
Well, you really do want to look at 2 because you're the host and you see what you see as a host, but it's nice to have a second computer up with a second name so you could see what other people are seeing.
Hi. I am on a radio. Oh, hold on.
Sorry.
You're muted.
He wants to mute because he's on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I do have 2 computers.
Yeah, I was using at home because I was actually hosting the one at home. I was using an iPad just to view what other people were seeing, just to
That's
know
good.
if I pinned someone too long, I would realize there as opposed to what I was looking at. And if I'm looking at a gallery view, but I pinned someone, I didn't realize that, I forgot to unpin.
Would it be possible, do you think, or would it even be worthwhile to walk us through the talent show from this, if we had designated hosts and engineers to and performers and audience, or is that jumping the gun?
Like a little mock.
When?
Like right now?
Right now?
If for one, I can't really show you because I'm not the host. I can't
Yeah.
share anything, nor am I prepared to share. I probably could. So, I mean, basically, whoever's your host, who's your host? That's what I'm trying to find out.
Yeah.
That person is the one who's going to guide the ship. I just follow along. I mean,
Okay.
I know what they're supposed to be doing, but FMU DJs are pretty unpredictable.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
The whole point is you follow along as a
Mhm.
technician with the person who says, okay, and up next is going to be so-and-so. As soon as they start to talk, they're going to come up and you're going to spotlight them in the screen so they don't go away if some other person decides to cough and has their mic open.
Right. I was just
Stuck there. That's really important. Even though everybody's supposed to be muted and you can say 100 times to mute, people will not mute.
well, yeah.
And that's why you have to spotlight them. Once you
Okay.
spotlight someone, they're stuck in everybody's screen. So it
And
won't
how do you spotlight? Do you know how to spotlight, Gay?
Yes. You just, as a host.
just hover.
Uh-huh. Okay, so for example, let's say I'm the host. Welcome everybody to our Zoom talent show, and we got a lot of talent here tonight. And then I give them little housekeeping things, like if you have problems, do this. I don't know what kind of housekeeping things I need to tell people. You can't. You're all muted. Everybody's muted, right?
No,
Yes.
Everybody's muted, however, except for some designated people in our group.
No, everybody's muted.
I thought
Period.
didn't
Except
you
for
and I?
the talent. My host is not muted.
Well,
But
but
my
we
host will
wanted,
mute. My host will mute when the talent person
is performing.
or anytime. The whole idea is to be muted because it does two things. One is you don't get extraneous noise of somebody coughing or hacking or eating their dinner and taking
Oof.
away the screen.
No, but what I discussed with the other fellow, I forget his name, is that you have 3 or 4 designated people in your own group who are unmuted so that they can applaud. They already.
Oh yeah, well you can do that too. That's a different. But they're still muted until that moment.
Until that moment, and
Usually
then somebody.
what we did was the host, meaning the person running the Zoom itself, not the technician, not me. In my case, it was a woman named Yvonne. And Yvonne would be like, give a big round of applause for so-and-so. And I would play some sound effects and people could unmute and clap. And then we waited till everyone muted back up. And then she'd talk about the next person.
So anybody who wanted to could unmute?
We'd let them, yeah, why not?
Uh-huh.
And then just make sure everybody's muted back because you don't want anyone interrupting someone's performance.
Right.
Exactly. So then you have control over muting everybody, right? You can mute everybody.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Or I can just mute the 5 individuals who didn't. That's why I have more than one helper, more than one co-host, so that they could go around and mute.
That was my big question. Since I'm going to be one of the technicians or engineers or whatever you want to call them, I need to see what I'm capable of doing here on my end as far as like muting and unmuting and things like that. Various functions.
Okay, you've just been made a co-host.
Okay.
Mute me.
So how do I go
up,
about?
Click on participants so you have the list of participants on the right-hand side of your screen.
A list of participants.
So down at the bottom of your screen, dead center, there's participants. If you click on that, it's going to open up a participant screen.
I don't have anything like that.
It says participants.
There's 9 participants.
I don't see any. Wait a
Go
minute.
down to the bottom, Lonnie. Look at the
Okay,
bottom.
Okay, it's in the middle of the bottom, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
click on that. It's going to open up a side screen for you.
Mhm.
All right, let's just see what happens here. Okay, yeah, there I see it.
Okay, so mute me. Mute somebody. Take a
All right,
choice.
let's see here.
Shut one of us up.
Okay.
Oh,
Ruth Booth, okay.
ooh, you did 3, right?
No.
No, those were muted.
Oh, they
Wait a minute,
were.
Wait a minute.
I'm watching the participant list.
Well, my thing is moving around too slow or something.
All right, I'll mute someone. I got
Okay,
the
I'm
power.
muted.
You muted your-
Okay, I
You got-
muted you,
Okay, you
Yeah.
muted Ruth.
and okay,
we have 2 Ruths.
and I muted Carol.
And I have a friend Yvonne. I'll see if
Okay.
she'll come and do the
Okay,
round of applause.
well,
Okay, and I unmuted me now.
all right. So you can unmute yourself, but
Correct.
I can unmute you and mute you, right?
Correct, and I can mute
Yeah.
everybody. So can you. You can mute us all and make us all ask permission to unmute.
Well,
That's in the
let's
very
see.
bottom.
Oh, okay. Mute all. I'm gonna try that, and then I'll click it right back off.
Go for it.
Okay, and then it says it's allowing you to unmute yourself. Now I could say mute all and then say don't allow
Yeah,
participants.
you can do that, but it's better to not be that drastic because then they got to ask and you got to pay attention to give them
Oh,
permission.
okay. All right. Okay.
That becomes
Okay. So now what I want to do is unmute people.
you can't unmute.
I can't unmute.
No, the participant has to unmute.
Oh, okay. So all I need to be aware of is how to mute.
Correct.
And when
You
I
mute
say mute,
individuals because that's going to happen. I mean, unfortunately, you'll be going along and everything's dandy, and then all of a sudden,
Whoopsie.
somebody starts crunching on their chips and they accidentally hit the space bar and unmuted themselves, and it's easier for you to just go mute them than try to hunt them down and ask them. That's what co-hosts are for.
Yep.
so let me ask you this. So, okay, I want to mute everybody except for the act that's,
You can't do that.
so what I need to do is just mute everybody and then leave it up to the host
To
to
unmute
unmute
who they want, yeah.
who they want.
But you say the host will set the meeting up. The technical host will set the meeting up so that when people come in, they are muted.
Because all I'm going to do on this show, I probably won't even have my camera on or my mic during the show. I'm just coming on here for one thing, to make sure there's order in the court, make sure there's people are muted when they need to be muted.
Yeah. That's all you got to do. And you can keep, you don't have to have a camera or anything on.
Right. Well, the reason I say that, it saves the resources on my computer too.
Yeah, that too.
I did notice it was a little slow moving around when I was trying to mute people.
Okay. So
Okay.
can we demonstrate how to spotlight? How do you spotlight?
Gay, spotlight someone.
You want me to tell Ruth how to do it? Ruth, why don't you choose who you need to spot?
You did make Ruth a co-host. Yeah, she can spotlight.
Hover over a name and just see what all the options are.
So if you're in speaker view right now,
Uh-huh.
you're probably seeing me talking.
I'm in gallery view.
Okay, you can still spotlight.
I
Go by the person's name. You go on top of, say, Lonnie right now. I'm on top of Lonnie. And there's
Okay, I'm on top of Victoria.
Whoever, there's 3 dots.
And there's 3 dots. Oh, I see.
See,
Okay.
you can spotlight. You can pin them, which will hold them. You can spotlight.
Oh, and
Which is what I
spotlight.
prefer. There you go. Now she's spotlighted.
You're muted. You're muted, Tori. Tori, you're muted.
Good.
Yeah, so she's highlighted. So someone who is in the other view is going to have her full screen, and nothing's going to change that. When I'm talking, it's not going to change to me. So you have to unspotlight her when she's done, when her act is done.
Yeah, so how do I unspotlight?
Same thing, just go hover over those little dots on her screen.
I'm looking for those dots. I don't see them. She's
Upper right of her screen, there's a mute and 3 dots.
ha ha ha.
I'm going to remove the spotlight. Okay, ready?
Okay, because I don't see where it is.
Okay, I just removed it. Okay.
More. I hover and I see the word more. I think mine's,
It's
maybe you see what I see, Ruth.
I
I
mute,
see.
stop video, chat, pin, spotlight, and report.
No, I'm looking. I must be looking in the. Wait a minute.
Are you looking in your gallery? Not off to the side. Side will give you more.
Uh-huh.
If you hover over the camera of the person,
Okay.
it'll say mute and there'll be 3 dots.
It does. It's easier to do it from the gallery view, isn't it?
It is. And plus, because it makes it easier for sure.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So I would have to change her back to gallery view, and then what? And then stop video. No, not stop video. I have spotlight, allow to record, allow to multi-pin, put in waiting room, remove.
Oh, you're all the way on the right. You're in the participant gallery, not on the image. You can spotlight there. It's easier to spotlight over the actual image of the person.
So Ruth, you may need to change your view to gallery view.
I'm in gallery view now.
Each of us has,
Everybody's equal now. Equal.
well, that could be, some of it is done at the level that it's hosted and some of it is done at your level, at your machine level. So
Uh-huh.
I'm seeing it, Ruth. I'm seeing it. I'm just hovering over my picture and I see this little blue box.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Dots in it. On everyone's picture, I'm seeing the same.
Yeah, and I see that too. I see that
If you
too.
click on those dots, it should give you those options, right?
It,
Mhm.
yeah,
I
it
don't
gives
s- I don't see those at all. I don't see any box or nothing.
you have to hover.
I
You
am.
have
I
hover
am.
in the upper right corner of a picture, right? Of somebody's.
Mhm.
I am, and I'm in the gallery view.
Huh.
Nobody. I'm hovering and then nobody.
Up in the
Nobody has
right-hand
that.
side,
Nobody has that option.
right where it says mute and unmute.
Mine doesn't even say mute or unmute.
Yeah, mine doesn't say mute or unmute. Mine says mute and then it has 3 dots.
Mine
Oh,
doesn't
yeah,
have
that's what
any-
I mean,
mine-
mute.
All I
and 3
see
dots.
is the person's picture and their name. I don't see anything that says mute or unmute or anything.
when you hover over it, it doesn't show anything new.
No.
You're hovering over people's photos.
Yeah.
I mean, and at the
How do
upper
you
right.
mute yourself, Lonnie, and how do you mute and unmute yourself?
Well, I could do it when I was on the speaker view.
Then do it on the speaker view.
I could do it when I clicked on participants
Mm-hmm.
and went down the list. That's how I was doing it. But when I'm on either gallery view or speaker view, either one, when I hover over pictures, there's nothing there. There's no way to
No,
mute.
hover
There's
in the
nothing.
upper right-hand corner,
I am.
Yeah.
because I'm in gallery view too, and I can see everybody's
Yeah.
dots.
Well,
Yeah.
he may not have all of the capabilities we have because Lonnie is on Linux, right, Lonnie?
Oh, maybe
I've got the Linux desktop.
I don't think it matters.
No?
Well, it should. It
My-
shouldn't, but there was some when I downloaded Zoom for Linux, it did say that some Zoom features may not work because it wasn't a high enough Zoom.
Yeah,
call it?
participate.
The Zoom when they come up with
Mm-hmm.
new versions, it wasn't a high enough version,
Oh,
and that
so
was
it-
my concern all along, that I wasn't going to be able to do some of these functions because I'm on a Linux machine.
Mhm.
And that might be, we may have to,
I can do the muting though by clicking on the participants. But I don't see any way hovering over pictures to do any of that.
Okay.
And the problem I've got is I've got a Windows machine, but it's having all kinds of issues right now. It's not stable. So,
So,
and I hate Windows anyway. So.
well, that's why we need to go through this dry run to just work out all the bugs. All right. Do you want to try doing this again and seeing if, because I never did figure out if I were going to spotlight, I'm going to put Jeanette on as if you were going to perform, Jeanette. Okay.
Do you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to spotlight you. There you
There
are.
you are. There she is.
Hello.
And now the question becomes, okay, so you're going to perform, and then when you're performing, we all have to be muted. So then somebody has to go over and mute everybody.
All
People
right.
should be muted. They shouldn't be unmuted at this point at all.
I'll
other than
mute
your
them. I'll
couple of
mute
folks.
everybody. Here we go.
Okay.
The talent needs to unmute themselves.
Mute. Okay, I'm on there. So I'm unmuted, is that correct? You want me to go forward?
Go.
Oh,
Do it.
Everybody can hear me. Let's see this.
Go ahead and do it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Because it looks like it's muted. Okay. There is my house in New Orleans because the rise and it's been the road of many a poor child, and God, I know I'm one.
Jeanette, well, it's time for us to applaud. Jeanette. Except,
I'm going to send you an email that
yeah.
should go to anyone who's talent on how to set up Zoom for performing songs.
Oh, good.
There's a lot of settings you need to change. Any version of Zoom will do it. It's mostly, not using an automatic microphone, actually setting a level, not using their noise compression and whatnot. Otherwise, it'll do what it did to her, which cuts her off. It can't make up its mind what's noise, the guitar or her.
Okay,
So
well, I cut her off because because I wanted to just go through the, kind of just go through a dry run. Thank you, Jeanette.
Well, how about here's what I've done before, is I just go ahead and record this and send it in, but you all are wanting it live performances.
Yes, we want a live performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there is going to be some things that the system cannot determine.
That's true.
What is
but
an
we
instrument?
can
What is a voice?
We can disable some of
there's
that.
a real problem.
What was that, Ruth?
We can disable some of that. Zoom actually does let you set your own stuff up.
Okay.
I'm going to send you a graphic from a website that teaches you how to change your settings in Zoom to accomplish what we need to accomplish.
Now, is that settings at the host level or at the performer level, or
That's
both?
the performer level. That's for everybody. You go in, you make your microphone not automatic, and you set your own personal level. You disable all the noise canceling thingies. There's a few things in there that you can do that really make a huge difference.
The other thing, Jeanette, is if
Yeah.
if you could use a laptop, it's much better than trying to do it on a phone.
Okay. Yeah, I thought about that too. I just didn't want to have to move my equipment downstairs.
Yeah.
My computer in my office, I'm trying to figure out how I would set that up. Okay, to be in front of my computer. Actually, the audio is better on this iPhone than it is on my computer. Quite frankly.
I can see that, but the problem with phones is connectivity. They tend to drop out quicker than a laptop will.
Well, we'll get all of that,
Yeah.
those instructions from Ruth.
Well, here's what I'm going to need is somebody to walk me through that. I mean, on how to set.
Well, you can't do it on a phone. It won't let you change. There's no settings like that on a phone. So you're using a 57 microphone to sing. You're going to want to plug that directly into the computer.
You mean a 58
Or
microphone?
58, whatever you
And
got.
plug it into a computer?
Yeah, do you have a Focusrite box
We
or
can't
any
do
other
that.
interface?
No,
So
we
you don't
can't
have any
do that.
interface. Okay.
No, we
The
can't
other
do
thing you
that.
can do to work around that, if you don't have an interface box, get some of these. Great dynamic mic. And
This is, take a look around. This is all professional equipment up here.
so you
we
don't
got a
have a
full-
Focusrite?
A full recording studio.
You have no USB interface to get into a computer for mixing?
Now, I do not use any kind of digital computer for any kind of recording.
Okay, so you're just going direct to machines.
Get you a Blue Yeti, you'll never be sorry.
That's what this is. It's great.
So we use tape and then convert to a digital CD.
Mhm.
You know, we've done that.
Well, that's not going to work on on this Zoom talent show, though.
Well, then you all, then I won't be participating.
Oh dear.
Jeanette,
It's that simple because it can't be this complicated.
What's
Jeanette.
wrong? She did it. The only problem was Ruth muted her before she was done.
Yeah.
I don't think the system shut her out. I think she was fine. I think that's the kind of entry we're looking for. We don't want to make it too complicated. We're not looking for professionals.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm
Hey,
just saying though,
Here's what we've done. I've had no problem with this, where we actually shot a video, and then I sent it to somebody, you know, in a file, and they had no problem hearing it.
Right.
Jeanette, if you need a Blue Yeti like this one, my Veterans for Peace
she can
has,
do what she's doing just, you know, as is. You know, if
if
she
she
uses
needs one, I have an extra one.
if she uses the cell phone, then
That we didn't get to hear it finish. I thought it was great. So I think
it is what it is, and you got to leave that alone. If she's on a laptop, you can make some adjustments in the audio settings. That's the only difference, which will
Okay.
help, but it's not priority.
Okay.
Everyone's going to be different. You know, you're not going to get, I mean, you're going to have people, we had people who came in who had full recording studios and full USB devices and microphones and stuff that rivaled the radio station. So everyone's going to be different. We had people on cell phones. I had one guy who sang on a cell phone that was amazing. He purposely was outside walking up the street, and it was great.
That's
It was
great.
absolutely
All right.
great. He
That's
was able
perfect.
to see the karaoke lyrics I was sending, and it was fine. Everyone's different. We can hope for the best audio for the audience, but you're not going to get that from every single person. You're going to get that from a couple
Yeah.
of people.
And would you suggest that we audition people before?
No,
No?
that's not fair. Don't rule anybody out. Just let them do.
Okay.
There will be some disasters, and there's going to be some great stuff.
Oh, what about just testing? And that you said meeting with
What?
people a half an hour before the show.
Yes, you
So,
can check everybody a half an hour before the show, do a check-in, and make sure everybody's
Okay.
connected. Absolutely.
okay. Okay.
Ruth,
So-
when you were on the phone earlier, the other Ruth Booth was explaining to us the voting mechanisms that she uses? Or is that what you're planning as well? Just having people hold up their cards?
Are you talking to this Ruth? Me?
She's talking to you.
Yeah, I was wondering about this reactions, the reactions where it says raise hand. That doesn't,
You can do that, but somebody's got to be in charge of counting them.
yeah. Either way, I think we could do it that way because you guys have had experience doing this already.
We just had people put up a numbered card. I mean,
Yeah.
it
And
depends
so-
on how
I just
many.
lowered my hand. I just lowered it.
Mhm. You lowered what?
Got you on Spotlight. Ruth, do you
Yeah,
want to?
yeah, I didn't have it. I just went in on where it says more, your three dots, so you can lower your hand or put your hand up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's your choice. Of whoever's running it has to make the decision of what's easiest for them.
Well, see, here's
Yeah.
what I can't determine. I can't determine what you all are hearing, because when I hear you all speak, it's not the quality that I think should be there, right? So I'm wondering what the quality is.
It depends on their device.
Okay, so what device should I have?
Generally, a laptop is better, or some form of desktop computer. I use, headphones, which help.
Jeanette, we're recording this. Would you like to watch the recording afterwards and see how it sounds in the replay?
That's
No.
a good idea.
Not really. Because I'm thinking that the next time we do this, that I'll just go down and sit in front of my computer, bring my see, I'm running my mic and my mic through my amplifier. My guitar is plugged into the amplifier. I've got it on a very low setting. So,
Okay.
I can manipulate
Yeah.
my mic and my guitar from where I'm at. So I'll just do it in front of my computer.
Okay, so next, what happens next? So we have somebody performing,
Mhm.
and then the host has to unmute everybody in order for people to clap. And then the next step is
Host doesn't unmute anybody.
everybody unmutes themselves.
The host who's going to be calling up the talent and speaking and whatnot will say, hey, everybody unmute for a moment and give so-and-so a big hand of applause. Hey, everybody, time to mute back again, and next talent person, step up and open your mic.
Okay, so when you say time to mute everyone again, is there one engineer or host who's doing the
Let the
muting?
people mute themselves.
What about people who won't mute? I mean,
And that's what your co-hosts do. They go mute them.
okay, so there's a backup.
That's what I'll do.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a backup person who's just like, okay, these three people refuse to mute. I'm going to mute them.
Okay, and then so the next step is that the host says, and now our next contestant is so and so, and he's going to do such and such, and here he is. And then you say, Jim, unmute yourself, right?
Jim, unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the audience. So when they start talking, it'll make your life easier. It'll pop up.
Wow.
It'll highlight. Quickly spotlight them at that point.
Okay.
Ruth and Ruth, it's Joe. Just wanted to make sure. Lonnie, I just wanted you to know that don't feel like you're going to have to hover over each box and mute. You can do it right there from the participants list.
Yeah.
You can mute them right
He
there.
can't.
I know that.
He can't on his computer.
I can
Can you?
do it. I can do it from the participants list.
Oh, you can do it. Yeah.
I can do it from there. I can't hover over anybody.
There you go. Okay.
So
I thought
so I think that what that means is that Lonnie cannot spotlight, but he can mute and unmute.
Yeah, I can't spotlight anybody.
Well, he shouldn't. Only one person
Right.
should
Yeah.
be spotlighting anyway.
Okay.
You don't want to have people crossing over because then it's going to be a big mess.
Right.
Assign people a job.
Right. So we have to
Yeah.
have that list of all the various functions, and we'll have to do a bunch of dry runs.
Yeah,
together.
that's what we did. We did a bunch of dry
Yeah.
runs.
Now,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. During the show, which one of us will be watching the waiting room to let people in?
Well, that's what you have to decide. There's a host, that's a technical host, we'll say.
Right.
Then that person, which right now is Gay, will pick co-hosts. Say one co-host's job is to admit people or boot people out if they're being obnoxious.
Okay.
Another person should be muting people who are obnoxious, who
Okay.
don't realize that their mic's open and they're on the phone.
Right.
So do that. If you have 150 people, then assign some extra people to help. You'll know by your ticket sales. I had 2 people whose job was just to mute. That's all they did, was mute people and admit people. And then one person had the opportunity to exile people if they weren't being appropriate.
Now,
That's
right.
that's really important because there you wouldn't believe, I do a lot of Zoom meetings and how many people can't find their mute button or
Exactly.
can't turn it on or off.
Or if you hit your space bar by accident and you are on a computer, it will mute and unmute. And people don't realize they've done that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've discovered all of them.
So
So
let me
that's why
ask
it's
you
good to
this.
have just somebody dealing with it.
Am I also set up to watch the waiting room?
Yeah, you'll see, if you're a co-host, you'll see someone asking to be admitted.
Okay.
It's
And you
right
can
up
just,
participants, they're just above a line when they're not in yet.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so we've got those. We've got somebody letting people in and out, somebody kicking people out. Then we've got a second person muting and unmuting. And then what else? And then we've got the host who's just doing the introducing.
Right, there's the
And-
host who introduces and
Mhm.
tells deals with the running of the show, just like a stage manager or a host at any event.
Uh-huh.
And then your co-hosts, when it comes time to voting, however you decide you want the voting to work, will tally and then
Okay.
text the host the winner. Or,
Text.
or do a private chat. You can chat to just a single person rather than the group.
And so then the host is the one who announces the winner.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. All right, are there any other functions or any other?
That's the basic of it. You just have to sort of get in your mind the order
Uh-huh. Okay.
and practice it. I did that karaoke. That was the first one we did, and that's the hardest one. The talent show is nothing after that.
Really?
Well, because karaoke, we did over 30 or 40 songs. When it came to the talent show, there was only 10 people.
Uh-huh.
And you knew the order, and they were all there at the beginning. It wasn't like karaoke where, okay, Handy from wherever, where are you? It's time to do your song, and they're not there.
Uh-huh.
And somewhere in the end, they were like magically want to do their song. So it was a little bit more chaotic.
The people that are doing the performing, do they get to be in the audience when they're not performing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
you're
they're
not
there.
setting up Zoom rooms. You don't need to set up side rooms for that. Just have them.
Okay.
They're part of the audience. I've found that most of the talent like to just keep their camera off until they went up. So it
Uh-huh.
was their turn. Then they turn their camera and their audio on.
Since they're in the room, are they voting?
No, they may not vote.
They're not allowed to vote. And when you held up that 2, was that you liked act number 2, or are you giving act so-and-so a 2 out of a scale?
No, we made it as simple as possible. We had 10 people. I liked act number 2.
You ever have any ties? What do you do about ties?
We only did one. Well, no, I guess we did 2 of these. No. Me and the co-hosts, if anyone was close, we sort of discussed it on the side. And then we would tell the station manager who the winner was.
Hey, Ruth, I have a question.
Mhm.
In the square boxes, did
Mhm.
they, instead of putting their name there, did they put like contestant 1, contestant 2, so the person that's counting the votes doesn't get confused?
You can do that too. Absolutely.
Okay.
You could tell them to change their name to contestant 1. We knew the name.
Really?
We had their names, so we knew that it was going to be such and such band or this
When
much
you're
issue.
voting, are they there watching people vote then? The contestants are,
Yeah, we were screenshotting the gallery views and just, like I said, we had like 3 or 4 pages worth. And then
okay,
screenshot them. Each one of us made a tally, texted each other, like, I have this many for this person, and then we decided who the winner was and then told the station manager who was the host.
okay.
I just changed my name. I put a 7 in front. We could even use
Yeah,
that.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
it's
You'll
easy.
have to,
It's super easy. I mean,
I
you
don't
can-
know how you do that.
Same place wherever the more is. You just hover on your own name.
Mhm.
Hover. choose
I've got a question. Did we
rename.
decide we're having single acts? We're not having bands, right?
I
Right.
don't, yeah, whatever you guys are doing, we did a combination.
I mean, can you do a band? Does it come through all right on the internet, on the Zoom, if you have a band in one room?
It worked for us, but they seemed to be pretty prepared. They had a USB attachment for the computer, which took the output of their mixing board into the computer directly, which sounded great.
Most
So,
most people aren't gonna know how to do that.
Oh, you'd be surprised. I was
Well,
stunned, and how many people had better microphones than me?
Well, that's true, but
Yeah, I mean, if
here
they,
in Louisville, Kentucky, you should see some of the live streams
We had a magician that
from
had
bands.
multicam.
from bands.
So yeah, it really just depends. You never know. I was stunned, and how many people when we did karaoke had professional microphones, like better than me
We could
using
put
a
it through the soundboard.
Yeah, they were putting things through soundboards. It was the whole 9 yards. I mean, they had like boom stands and shock absorbers, and I'm just sitting here like, oh man.
Isolation boxes for their amps.
Oh yeah, they had everything. It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
And I'm sitting here like grabbing the 58. I don't even have a stand, and these people had everything. So,
That's not fair, because then it becomes a contest of who has the best technology.
we took that into account. I mean, we weren't going to vote for someone who had the best technology. We voted for who we thought we actually kind of went with who we thought were the most fun.
Yeah,
Who, did something cool and fun.
yeah.
You can't just vote for a straight up band unless they were, for some reason, they were absolutely amazing.
When are they going to do this?
But you definitely have to look at it. I'm just saying, when we did the karaoke, I was surprised how many people had professional equipment that rivaled, the radio station.
I have a question that I had in the chat room. So for all of the people who've paid to get in, the audience, do they need to be told beforehand to have a paper and pen there for voting?
Yes. These are all the instructions. You can either give them the instructions at the ticket site. So when they buy their ticket, they have it. You can also give them the instructions. The host, per se, will start off the show by welcoming everybody, making a mention of who's there, and hey, everybody, if you can please get a pen and a marker and be prepared to vote for your favorite whatever. We had a mix of magicians. We had some comedy folk. We had a couple bands. We had some single guitar players. Ours was a big mishmash of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And the way that I advertised it, and I don't know if this is good or not, I said, you can tell a story. You can talk about how you stayed sane during the pandemic. You can have a fashion show. You can do a cooking demonstration. I mean, I just opened it up to anything and everything. And I don't know if that's a good thing to do or not. I wanted people to know it was more than just music.
That's fine.
Uh-huh.
The biggest thing you need to do is put a time limit.
Yes, and that's what I've got.
And how much time a person can have.
And I just took from you and put down 4 minutes or less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way they play one song, not 10.
Right. Yeah.
Or, do 3 magic tricks, not 50.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be. Yeah, that works. Otherwise, you'll be there all night. Yeah. All of a sudden, you're like, oh my God, they're 20 minutes each.
Yeah, and there's no audience left.
Yeah, and the audience is leaving. Yes, you start seeing the little numbers dwindling.
Ruth, how many do we have so far signed up?
Oh, you're not going to like this, Carol. Where are you, Carol? Oh, there you are. We only have 3 signed up so far.
You're not doing this till April, though, right?
Right, not until April.
You're doing well
So,
then. You're fine.
Do you have any suggestions, Ruth Booth, on how to get more people to sign up?
You mean to be talent?
Um, Yes.
My station manager dealt with that. He knows comedians, he knows different peoples and friends of friends and bands. So he put something out. I think we may have put something on Instagram, but I think he kind of kept it a little closer knit than that, and just friends of the radio station. And there's plenty of people.
Well, folks, I'm going to have to leave. I've got another engagement. But before I get out of here, Ruth Booth, I want to thank you. And I'm sure you probably know Jesse Jarnow.
Yes, I know Jesse.
Well, tell him Lonnie from Louisville said hello. He was on.
I am going to do that because I will see him some point during this fundraiser.
He was down here in Louisville on a panel with me at Bellarmine University about the Grateful Dead.
Oh, how funny. Okay.
Guys, I also have to step out. I'm so sorry. You guys are doing great. I'm excited. Ruth, let me know if you need anything, okay? Like, I'm really good at Zoom. I live on these meetings during the week. So.
Oh, good. Go. Maybe we could have you be one of the co-hosts, Joe.
Whatever you need. I'm here for everybody on this call. Thank you all so much for your service, okay?
Have a good one.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Take it easy, Joe.
You're leaving, Tori? You're muted. You're muted.
There we go. Now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I didn't realize it was up in that corner. Joe has a great voice for a host.
Yeah, he could be a host.
Upbeat.
Yeah. So we might be able to use Joe.
Yeah.
See what
I
happens.
gotta try to get Kari to do a monologue, but she probably won't.
But she has a lot of friends, Tori, that she could. Yeah, she needs to. Yeah. But that would be
Ruth,
great.
what about your musical friends? Have you invited your musical friends? Like when you have people over at your house, they all play music and do stuff. Have you told them?
I've mentioned it and nobody has expressed interest, but I will. I think I'll put more pressure on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many do we have to make it a go?
I think you want about 10.
10.
I don't think you want more than that, or you'll be there all night.
I mean, what's the minimum?
8.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go below. I think 10.
I think 10 is the magic number, 10 to 12. Because you got to figure 4 minutes a piece. You want to give people an hour and a half show. You don't want to be longer than that, and you don't want to be too short. So,
yeah.
What type of communication do you have with the talent ahead of the event versus like in the waiting room?
What do you mean?
So once they're signed up, is the first time they really get any kind of guidance or instruction on how their performance is going to go is the night of the event?
No, I think whoever's in charge of the event emails with them.
But they don't come to any kind of
they can, that's up to you guys if you do any kind of meetings prior.
I don't think that's what you had planned, is it, Ruth? You were just planning on seeing them the night of.
Actually, I think that when it comes to if it's only 10 people, I think I could be. I'm sorry, I was typing an answer to, I guess, Carol. I wasn't listening. But as far as being with the performer, I was thinking that I might be able to telephone each one.
Yeah, you can do that. You know, I'm sure Ken discussed things with them in advance. I wasn't part of that. I didn't need to be.
Yeah, so I could do that. And Carol, as far as the audience being told beforehand, absolutely, they need to be told beforehand. That's going to be part of the instructions when they first enter, when they're in the waiting room.
Yeah, what we did was, like I said, we admitted everybody immediately, except that we had a graphic up with instructions and some music playing.
Okay, we can
until the host was ready.
But then once the show starts,
Hmm.
And there are late people coming in. How do they get the instructions?
Oh, well.
Oh, well, okay. They don't.
I mean, it's on your web. You know, we also put the same instructions in the online page when they bought their ticket.
Ah,
Whether they
good
read it
thinking.
or not, everyone's going to read instructions. Not everyone cares. So it's
Yeah.
going to be what it's going to be. That's why you have to be prepared to mute people, to kick
Right.
people out.
How
And
do
then
you kick people out? How do
right
you?
next to their name, there's like a ban them from this event.
And
And once you ban them, they can't come back. So you got to be sure. So when where it says more, there's a remove button.
oh yeah, I see that.
You may remove people from your event. Like I said, out of all the events we've done so far, we have removed one person.
And put people in the waiting room, I see.
Yeah, you can put them back, but that's, what's the point of that?
We put our contestants in the waiting room while we vote.
Yeah, you could. That's up to you. We let everybody see the voting.
Well, especially if you, the way that, I don't know if it was Ken or you that explained to me that you tell people that's going to be by audience vote and that's how you get more people to pay $10 for fundraiser is the friends. And so
Yeah.
they're going to see their friends and their friends are going to feel obligated to vote for them if they're watching.
Yeah, but it's okay. What your goal is to sell tickets.
That's right.
However you're going to sell them.
That's why
Whether it's their friends and their friends of friends and their mother and their sister. That's how you need to sell tickets. It's not going to just be your radio listeners or local people. It's going to be whoever you can get.
Yeah.
Especially the first time trying it out.
Right. And part of the instructions ought to be how to change your name when you're a performer to a number and a name.
But
So
you should do that over the phone or via email prior to the event.
Okay.
So when they come onto the event, it's already done.
Okay.
Their band name, their talent name, and a number. And you need to assign that, the week before to them, whatever it may be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ruth Booth, how did you all handle it if one of your station volunteers won? Won't people scream and yell, oh, that was a setup, or that wasn't fair?
We had some volunteers who did participate. In our case, they were not a winner. It was actually pretty close between one of them and the person who won. If people vote, and you got to go with it. And that's why we screenshot all the different gallery views and count the votes legitimately. So if somebody does balk,
Well, look,
the number.
They're right. It is like a set.
Uh-huh.
So
okay, so what else do we need to know? Anything?
I think that's it. I think you just need to practice.
Yeah.
You need to figure out who is your technical host.
Yeah.
And who is your talent host. And the goal is for that talent host and the technical host to sort of be in tune with each other.
Okay.
And if you have an order to things, then everyone can anticipate what's next. So it makes it a lot easier.
Right. Even if it's not a script, like an agenda of some type.
You have to have some sort of running order and time limit.
Okay. Yeah. And how do you handle if somebody goes over their time?
If the host can't cut in and say, hey, you've gone over your time, let's move along, and and they won't stop, you have the power to turn their camera off. It can happen. Just mute them and turn their camera off. It's that simple. You do have that power.
Okay. We do have that power, huh?
Yeah, it's better than the
Stop
hook.
video. Yeah, stop video. Okay, that's good to know.
We didn't have that problem. Like I said, we had one obnoxious guy that we actually booted from the meeting.
Where is this background noise that you can minimize? What is that? Or
I'm going to just send you a website that kind of gives you stuff to do that.
Oh, okay, good.
Ruth, have we had any spoken word people or stand-up comics?
No, I would love, no, not yet.
You didn't con
Oh, well-
Ken into doing comedy for you? Come on.
We've got at least 2 and I think 3 people who all want to do a dramatic reading.
I may do the singing of the Japanese song, and I haven't signed up yet, but without the music, I'm kind of worried.
I think it'd be fine. Carol.
Oh, Ruth Booth, what Lonnie had said earlier on another call was that, for instance, if a learner wanted to sing a copyrighted song a cappella, there wouldn't be legal problem. Is that your understanding? A cappella, not a cappella.
Lyrics are copywritten just like anything else.
Okay.
So we can't do anything really.
Well, we did it all and just didn't worry about it. And I illegally borrowed YouTube videos for karaoke night. People sang to them. I think there is a certain leeway with something like that.
I thought it was.
Gay, delete that part.
Well, we didn't record anything. How's that?
So do I need to perform an original composition? Is that?
I don't think so. I think you can do
No.
whatever you want.
Because that's not the song. The House of the Rising Sun is not the song I'm going to do. I was
Yeah,
just
you do whatever
trying
you
to
want to
test
do.
that.
Do whatever you want, Jeanette.
I think as far as talent shows go, there is a certain
Well,
amount of leeway.
I'm not going to do whatever I want, because if it doesn't sound good to the
Of
public,
course.
I wouldn't put myself out there like that.
Well, what you're going to do what works for you.
Because I actually get paid out there, for being in a band or a single act. So it has to sound good.
That's confusing, because if Jeanette's going to sing a song like copyrighted song, then why wouldn't I be able to sing one with background music with sukiyaki?
I think you can.
I don't understand that. I don't understand the difference.
I think for a talent show you can. You're not broadcasting this. That's where you get into trouble. If you're going to go broadcast it on your radio station, then you got a problem. If you're doing a private event, I don't think you have a problem.
If you're the one recreating it, that's original work. I mean, that's not the protected copyrighted recording of the song performed by Jay-Z as released by X Records,
Right.
So I think you're fine. And we're not for profit. We're fundraising, but it's a non-profit. So that's
Yeah, it's not like you're going to go post it on Vimeo somewhere, a copyrighted song that you've covered.
And if they do, then we need to expose whoever these horrible people are.
Well, no one can record but hosts and co-hosts. I wouldn't record. One of the reasons I don't record is because everyone knows you're recording, and that may make people not want to do it.
Okay, so we don't record.
I didn't.
Yeah.
There are other ways to record that people don't know. We recorded audio using Audio Hijack.
So this is more like a private talent show. I guess I'm kind of confused, because I see this as a PR opportunity, and I would think we want to be.
Well, it is, but only people in the Zoom meeting see the show. It's not like it's on a public. It's not like you're streaming it somewhere.
It's not
You're not playing
YouTube.
it on a YouTube Live or Vimeo.
Why not? Hold on. Why not?
You can.
Well, we shouldn't for the talent show, because we want people to come to our Zoom meeting and not watch it.
You want them to pay for it.
We want them to pay for it, not
Unless you're in the room. So that's
What?
your.
what?
If you bought a ticket, you're entitled to the show.
And
Yeah.
the voting.
And to-
Come here, Lily.
And vote.
Wait. One person stop talking so I can hear what she has to say.
You're paying to vote. You're still going to get the same turnout. They're coming to vote because they're
Yes.
performing. You're still going to get the same turnout. People are not paying to see the show. They're paying to vote. And it's a PR opportunity for the station. We should live stream it so people see it, so that we can garner excitement and interest in it in the future as well. And people, when they sign up for a talent show, they're expecting to perform. They're going to be nervous. That's part of the excitement. That's part of the excitement, is being seen. People with talent want to be seen.
I think what I heard was that we will get into trouble with copyright if we put it on anything but just our own little private Zoom, and that it only for people who pay the money. That's what I think I'm hearing.
You know,
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. We're getting very legalistic here, but what if, I'm talking to Ruth Booth here. Ruth Booth, what if we this is just legal. You'll love this, legal schmiegel. So we run the show as it is and put it up on, I don't know, our Facebook account, but we type it in. We have Lonnie's the guy that when people use recorded music on a show, people send that into him and he sends it to, the agencies that we pay money to.
Mm-hmm.
That is, for instance, I don't use music on my show, but for people who use, I don't know, Michael Jackson's Thriller, you type that in on a form, you send it to Lonnie Griesbaum, and he does whatever he does with the form.
Mm-hmm.
So what if we did the same with whoever's, like if lady wanted to use the House of the Rising Sun, we type that into and send it into the people that you
pay the
yes.
fee for.
Yes.
I guess. I mean, we did it.
Well, the House of the Rising Sun isn't copyrighted. That's a very old folk song.
Yeah.
I don't even know who wrote it.
Yeah.
Oh, so that means you don't have to worry about it then.
Right, like
that's right. I wouldn't have to worry
as
about
far
that
as a talent show. And you decide you're going to plug this into Facebook Live, I see no problem. People are going to do what they're going to do, and it's a one-shot deal. I wouldn't record it and leave it on your YouTube channel, because then you will get caught. They will take it down. They'll take it down within a week, I guarantee it. But if you are just doing a talent show, people can do whatever they're going to do, and if you want to send it to Facebook Live or your homepage or whatever you want to do, you can do that. I'm putting up our grand finale. These are DJs singing real songs recorded by our DJs. I mean, basically, we're making our own backing tracks. So it's like a live DJ karaoke, but I know I can't post it anywhere. It's going to play on our homepage, and that's going to be it.
Yeah. I think KA raises a point where if we were to play it on our radio station, maybe we could just send in our list.
Send in the ASCAP or BMI, whatever you pay.
But that does not apply to any of the other platforms. That does not apply to Facebook or YouTube or any other.
Mm-mm.
YouTube has some pretty strict guidelines, but I don't think Facebook really does. I mean,
Facebook does.
As far as copyrighted music?
Yeah, they do, but if you're just playing like a live stream and you're done, you're fine. It's when you repeat stuff that's when you're going to get complaints.
Right.
I've learned that. We've live streamed our grand finale every year, and it's obviously mostly copyrighted material. Every once in a while, it's a public domain something.
I guess another thing that I think takes some pressure off of us too, Ruth Newman, is that they self-police, like YouTube and Facebook self-police. If it's a violation, they take it down. They're not.
That's right.
They're not going to come for us.
No, they're going to just take it down. They're going to, and if they're really cranky about it, they will banish you for a month. They'll take you down for a whole month. Everything you have will go down for a month. You know.
Well, it'd be so much easier if we were in a live studio and then each musical act came in and then it was live stream. That would just be so much easier.
Well, basically, yeah, this is the sad way we have to do it right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we normally do our grand finale in our venue with a real stage and live everything, and it's streamed, and we have 4 cameras, and it's great. Now I'm trying to figure out, I'm plugging Zoom into our video switcher, sending it to Ustream, sending it, it's terrible. and playing backing tracks as opposed to being, a live band made up of DJs, which people really enjoy.
Let me ask 2 questions here real quick, and then I need to get off. So Ruth Booth, you're going to send instructions through Ruth Newman about how Zoom, how you can manipulate acoustics
Mhm.
on Zoom.
Correct.
If you're, so I can get that from her, right?
Yep, I'll send it as soon as we're done. Or actually, I could probably do it while we're.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
okay,
Okay.
yeah. And then
Good.
the second question, Ruth, you got a list of 3 people, any of those people, 3, Don Smith?
Yes, yes. One of them
Yes,
is.
okay, okay, that's all I need to know.
I hope he's not doing a dramatic reading.
I don't know what he's doing. He's probably doing, he's written 3 books, so he's,
Oh,
and he's a comedian, so.
oh, well,
he-
good.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
good. Okay. Is there anything else that we need to go over?
Like Ruth, your friend that plays the piano, see how that works on Zoom. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we could try that. Yeah,
You know
try.
what? Half the fun is what happens, whether it's good or
Yeah.
bad.
That's true too.
Even if they only
Yeah.
do one song, I mean, it's just for fun and
Well, that's
you know.
it. You got to keep the fun in it. You can't make this a serious thing. That's not the
Yeah.
idea. It's just supposed to
If
be
I
fun.
participate on this, I'm going to be in a studio with the right equipment and running it through a board so you can control it, because there's nothing worse than doing something live and it's feedbacking and all of that,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know, and because I'm out there being paid, I'm not going to be, screw myself basically.
Well,
Right.
you need to send in your registration, Jeanette, through our website. Go to our website and enter the talent show.
Well,
Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
I'm going to make a decision whether I'm actually going to participate.
Oh, okay.
Because if I can't get the right technology, I'm not going to participate.
Okay.
No,
Because
we heard you fine.
I'm not out to throw some crap out there and it's feedbacking and all of that. That's for non-professionals if they want to do that.
Okay.
We heard you fine though when you played. We
Mhm.
heard you fine.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, maybe the microphone could have been a little closer, to you and your music, but it was not bad.
Hey, Jeanette, we're going to have several more rehearsals. You could come on and try it again if you tweak your
Yeah.
set, whatever. Come try it again and see what you think.
And that's what I was going to say too, is that we've got to have another rehearsal sometime within the next, I don't know, week or two. And so I don't know, I don't want to take up your time, Ruth,
Mhm.
to schedule the next rehearsal, because I know we can't have Ruth with us. We're going to fly solo on our next rehearsal. And so before everybody leaves, let's come up with the next date of our rehearsal that people can attend. But I won't take up your time now, because
Mhm.
I really appreciate your taking the time to do this for us, Ruth.
Yeah, I recommend, as insane as it's probably going to be, to watch the fundraising finale. You'll kind of get an idea.
And you'll send us a link for that?
It's just going to be on the WFMU homepage.
Oh, the WFMU, and okay.
Yeah, I'm actually sporting out the video, this screen into our video switcher.
Hey, Ruth Booth,
Mhm.
in your opinion, what is the main difference between the audio quality of a Zoom call and an MP3 playback or anything else?
Zoom's bit rate is pretty decent, not like 44-100. It's not going to be a decent CD quality sample rate. But their bit rate, actually, considering it for people recording, say, interviews and recording both sides of the interview, it's pretty decent.
So Zoom is very good for speaking. It's better than average for speaking.
It is. I would say it is. And the key to it, I have found, is to not have multiple microphones open, because then Zoom has to decide. That's why I say it's really important to have people mute, because as long as people are muted, then that one person can be heard clearly.
So what you're saying?
You notice when you and I are talking together, we're cutting each other off in Zoom.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the whole point of saying everybody's got to mute except the person performing. and they'll get decent audio. They can get super high quality music audio. When I put out, I do an advanced sharing of audio backing tracks, they sound really good. And if
So
it's just
Ruth
that
Booth,
backing track and a microphone, it's better than one would expect.
so
I-
Ruth Booth,
Mhm.
back in the day, before they had multi-track recording, you'd have a bunch of people standing in front of one mic. And, 1945 or something, and then, you have different people on different mics and the multi. So what you're saying that just for Zoom, if you had, for instance, a barbershop quartet, it would be better if they were standing in front of one mic for Zoom.
No, not if they're in the same room
There's a
together,
pipe
no.
dream. Somebody is trying to sell us something.
What is?
Next paragraph says, whereas 16 of the 17
Hart
highest
Hagen.
years on record.
Yeah, who's got
21st century.
who's got forward radio on? Somebody's
Somebody
got.
needs to mute.
I'm. Oh, Carol.
No, that's not necessarily correct.
Go
Within
ahead.
Zoom, you don't want multiple people talking at the same time. Let's say
Well,
you had a
here.
barbershop quartet and they each had their own microphone. Well, what's to say you can't feed the mics into an audio board and feed the audio board into Zoom?
And that would probably be the
Zoom will
best.
take any audio. Zoom takes my audio board.
Somehow we've seen the schools doing their musicals and they're all singing together and it's still picking up. So it still works.
Oh, it works. It's not, that's not the issue. The issue is when we're all talking at once in the meeting. That's when it all gets, bleh. I mean, I feed my audio board into Zoom.
And
You know,
that
if I
all
switch
works.
off this headset right now and tell Zoom I want to use the audio board and my regular microphone, it doesn't care. So it doesn't care what's coming out of that audio board.
Yeah, now there's something wrong with your mic, KA, because at least to my ears, some of your voice was muffled, and I don't know why. Was that anyone else's experience or just mine?
It was a little bit garbled at a moment, like maybe there was some kind of internet drag or something garbling it. I don't know for sure. I don't know if it's necessarily his mic. It could be a number of things.
Yeah.
Okay, because those are kind of things that maybe if we could catch them in time, and you think a half hour before the performance is sufficient to catch that with everybody, all the performers?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'd be surprised. People who are performing, they're slicker than you think.
Then I am.
Yeah, they've done this. I didn't have any issues with any. I had one problematic person out of all the shows so far, and it was during our, we do a show called Skep Tech. It's a technology show. And the host, we did PowerPoints and music and audio clips, and he had two guests. The first guest, I mean, he was amazing. He had multiple cameras, multiple microphones. He was fantastic. The third guest was a woman who gave a speech about drones. She was using the microphone in her laptop. And then to add insult to injury, she was like way back here, so you could barely hear her. And we kept on trying to tell her, get closer to your microphone, get closer, and she just wouldn't have any of it. And it was what it was. You can't get uptight about that stuff.
Uh-huh.
You're just going to have to accept it.
Ruth Booth, it just so happens that today I'm using an Acer Chromebook 311, and I don't have a microphone plugged in. It's just whatever. And also, I'm running Zoom through the browser on this Chrome. I don't think I've downloaded the software.
Yeah.
And you know how it gives you the option to run Chrome through your browser? Not Chrome.
Zoom.
Run Zoom through your browser. I'm running it through the browser.
Well,
does that make a difference?
Huge difference if you run it through the browser.
So that
huge
might
difference if you're using a Windows computer, and bigger difference if you're using the desktop built-in microphone.
Should everybody be told they need to download Zoom, a Zoom app? Or-
People who want to do talent, they know.
They know.
Most people
And-
do download the app because it won't let you do anything if you don't. You know. if
And
you
otherwise, if your audience, you don't need to download the app. You can just go
Yeah,
through
they
the
can just-
browser.
Yeah, they can go through the browser.
Okay.
Most people don't go through the browser because Zoom annoys you about that anyway.
Okay.
Not on the Chromebook.
No, not on an Acer, no.
So, but you're saying, and so you're saying that people use Chromebooks. Well, one, I'm signed in as guest, so I need to sign in the other way. Make sure that the Zoom software is downloaded on to this computer. Some I've got a book on Chromebooks, but so it's a little different. I got you. It's different.
Yeah, you can also use, like something as simple as earbuds that are plugged in because you get a nice dynamic mic and it's plugged in direct.
Oh.
If you happen to have, that helps a lot because it's isolated.
So you mean those earbuds where they have the built-in microphone that's hanging down the cord you're talking about?
Yep. That's what I use. The only time I don't use it is if I'm co-hosting as an MC or something. I have a 58 through an audio board that goes into my computer. I'll use that.
I attended a Zoom webinar the other day, and one of the things they said was that if you're holding a meeting and that anyone that's doing the engineering or the co-hosting should be hardwired to the internet and
Absolutely.
not. Okay, so that's
Yeah,
something
if you're wireless, that's going to be a problem too.
Yeah. So, but that only applies to the people who are handling the show. Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay. So that's something else we need to make
Yeah,
sure.
whoever's handling the show should be plugged in.
Okay.
That's a chat I've been having with DJs all day today. No, you cannot go wireless. You must be plugged into an Ethernet cable for co-hosting. Because all of our DJs are going to have co-hosts starting Saturday night. And the co-hosts are at their house. So we're using Zoom to get the audio. That's what I've been doing all day.
I bet you're wiped out.
I have one more to do before my night is over.
Oh my God.
Well, everyone waits to the last minute.
Well, we better let you go then, Ruth.
All right. So
thank you, Ruth Booth.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
I sent you that Zoom sort of help you with the audio thing.
Oh, good. Very good.
Performance. But I'm not kidding though. I still think even though you can't make adjustments on a cell phone, in a lot of cases, the cell phone will sound better than a laptop, depending on what you're doing. I had a guy singing and walking up the street, and he was amazing. His signal, he was just in the right. I'm sure if he wasn't in the right place, it might have been a different story, but he had great cell signal.
Great. That's great.
He's
Jeanette, I think
on an
you're,
iPhone.
Yeah, he was using an iPhone.
Yeah, this is an iPhone so that I'm using here because I recorded something not too long ago and sent it, via a file over the internet, and it sounded just fine, like it was live.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the iPhone works.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
But you have to have, this is an iPhone 10. I mean, you want to make sure that you have the best, software uploaded to it.
Sure.
So basically with what Forward Radio is using, what I would want to see is, to practice and see what it actually sounds like back, and so that means there would have to be enough time allotted that you just go through your 4-minute song, because that's the max, and see what that's like, and then have them send that to you. And so you can adjust, see how you want to sound. Now, is that fair to everybody who doesn't have that ability? I mean, so I think it's a show of technology.
I think you have
Because
to, when you vote, you just have to show you can't vote on technology. If people are cutting in and out, but they were a great performer and were expressive and people enjoyed it, that's who you vote for. You can't vote.
Yeah.
Like we had a band that was in our talent show that was so mega professional, and they were good. I liked their song, but you know, one of the other people who was actually just a guitar and a vocalist who obviously was using an iPad, I think. She just had so much charisma and was so sweet and was really playing from her heart. Everybody voted for her. And the magician was amazing too, but he, was also super slick. So I think people are going to vote by who's pouring their heart into it. I don't think people are really going to vote by who had the best camera and who had the best microphone. It's a Zoom event.
I'm
I think they do vote that way if they can't hear
right.
what the act is doing. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem. You'd certainly be able to hear me and all of that. I'll just make some adjustments. But for those people out there that don't have that ability, and really what you were saying, Ruth Booth, about, muting everyone, because when you have instruments going and all of that, and if it's not muted, you're going to get feedback. So the mute person, whoever that is, that's really important. It's just like that the audience out here. I mean, I do a lot of UN meetings. You wouldn't believe how many people forget to mute, unmute.
Oh yeah.
It's just really, a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering also whether it would be worthwhile to have that in your introductory talk about this is not a technology contest, that we're just looking for talent.
Yes, you might want to say a little something when you contact people that
Okay.
it's not a technology contest.
You're probably going to have to go over, how to mute and unmute. You would believe how many people don't know where the mute button is.
No, that's for sure.
I think that's part of the 30 minutes that we're anticipating ahead of the show.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go over all that.
The housekeeping stuff in the beginning. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, good. That's something you could you could do, Gay.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, I think we need to figure out who the technical hosts are, and probably even have our own little team meeting where we're all on the same page so that we've got our own signals. And in fact, Ruth, I was going to ask you said your guy gives you hand signals. What kinds of signals?
One of the problems I was having with the karaoke videos was when you borrow them from YouTube, they have all different audio levels. And depending on the person, whether they were singing into a laptop, a phone, or they had a real microphone or a mixing board or whatever they had, I needed to adjust the level so it didn't drown them out. So I was adjusting that in VLC, and my host, the talent of sorts, she was just kind of casually, doing just like little waves at me, and I would know what she wanted. We kind of worked it out in advance that just in the one corner of the screen, she'd be like, and people don't really notice that. They're not really looking at her. Only I'm purposely keeping an eye on her.
Yeah.
And it was very helpful for me because I could just lower the audio per song.
You can do that. The engineer or the host can lower and increase.
It depends. I was playing back the song, so I could control it. You're not going to be able to control what other people are playing.
Oh, okay.
It's a one-shot deal. That's just coming to you, and that's what it is. It's going to be what it is, no matter whether it's.
She was the DJ.
She was the DJ.
Oh, okay.
But it is good to be in contact with each other throughout. Whether it's by text or chat.
We need to identify who that team is and have us kind of get our own little working system down.
Exactly. Who's going to mute? Who's going to kick people out? Who's looking for this? Okay, we know we have 100 people, so there's going to be 6 pages of view. So, okay, you're responsible for page 1 and 2. You're responsible for page 3 and 4. You're responsible. So when it comes time to voting, everybody screenshots the appropriate pages and can count them up. Or each person is responsible to pay attention to that page to mute, or someone's
Yeah.
acting inappropriately, or whatever it may be.
So in other words, if you had 6 pages,
Mhm.
then you would have 3 people. Each one would be responsible for 2 pages,
Correct.
everything to do with those 2 pages.
Mhm.
Muting, removing, what else? Yeah, muting and unmuting, all of that.
Yep.
Okay.
That made it easier.
And then counting the votes.
And counting the votes. And then we just text each other, all right, I got so-and-so on this page. What do you got for your page? My winner is, what were your votes?
And does everybody have the same people on the same pages?
If you do it in the regular view, yes.
It shifts around during the call, but
Right.
at that moment in time when everybody's getting their screenshots, it will have.
Yeah, it's not going to shift. It shifts by, if someone turns their camera off, they'll shift down. But
Okay.
for that moment, you're fine.
Okay.
Because
Very
we
good.
were originally thinking of having everyone put their vote in the chat, and then it was just one of the things I did learn, just so you know, a lot of our listeners came on to our shows, which is great. They bought tickets. Boy, do they like to chat during the show. And there's nothing wrong with that. We couldn't use it as a communication because you type something in, by the time you type it in, there would be 50 things. And it was like, I think Will was trying to tell me something, but I don't know so that's why we were texting. That was one thing we found out real fast. It was everyone wants to chat and comment and say, oh, they were so great. Oh, I love this song, or whatever they're doing. Oh my God. I couldn't keep up with it.
On the the Zoom webinar I attended, they talked about that, and they said that for big meetings, they do not allow anyone to use the chat.
You have to. You cannot do that to people who are in your audience.
All right.
Let them enjoy themselves. Let them chat.
Okay.
This is you're giving people a social event here. This is more than just a standard Zoom. It's a social event, and I realized really fast that chat wasn't going to be good for us unless we were giving out information. We did give out information in the chat, like the mute reminders and whatnot. But we realized we couldn't use the chat amongst ourselves because it was just even a direct message, it didn't matter because there was so much in there.
So then we need to have our cell phones next to us so that we can text.
Absolutely.
All right. Very good.
Yeah, that's how I communicated with Ken during the talent show.
Okay.
And at one point I texted him, hey, this dude's covering his face. And the second show he did was a kind of a staring contest. Yeah. He and Andy, his co-host, had to make people laugh. But this one guy kept on covering his face, and I'm like, that's cheating. He can't. And but I didn't want to call him out. I let Ken call him out. But I texted Ken, okay, the dude by this name, keep an eye on him. He's covering his face. I think he's trying to fake us out. And Ken called him out.
So the person who's doing the hosting, who's actually doing the commenting, they have to be also, they have to have their phone on and be watching that to see if they get any text messages while they're hosting.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because sometimes we need to tell them to do something.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone, you've got to find your communication. That's really important.
Well, this is going to be quite a grand experiment. And I blame it on Ken.
Yeah, why? How did Ken get you to do this exactly?
Because he was at the grassroots radio conference that they put on, the virtual radio conference. He gave a presentation. It was all about putting on a Zoom talent show, and I was at the Grassroots Radio Conference.
Oh, that's your fault.
It's my fault.
Never listen to Ken. I don't.
But he said that you guys were really, really successful.
We
with
were.
it.
We
Yeah.
were. We had no idea what would happen. We tried multiple types of events. So we did 2 different types of talent shows. We did karaoke and we did the technology show. I feel like we did something else in there too. I can't remember. We did one of our DJs does like actually he's from Kentucky, Hardy White. He did a stand-up kind of thing where he's I don't know how to describe him. He's sort of a storyteller. He was actually, I think he was the most successful. He's got a big following. But we found that engaging people, like you said, the voting is really important. People are looking for something to do. It's great PR for the station. It makes people feel a part of the station because most of your audience will be your listeners. And it's engaging. That's why the chat's really important. People really want to say hi to each other. And at the end of each event, even though the talent would ditch out, I'd leave the Zoom up for a little bit for people to say hi to each other that knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
You want people to feel welcome and participate.
Okay.
You know, he's right. And surprisingly, people really want to do it. And it wound up being a fundraiser that what's it costing us?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we bought Zoom for a year, the professional package, and I think it was like $600, I guess, for the year. We made that money in one show. So the fact that we've done multiple shows and now he's using it for all our big staff meetings and we're using it for other purposes, it wound up being a great investment. And we really weren't sure at first. We didn't know it was going to happen.
Yeah. Well, we're just going to have to feel this thing out. And I want to find out from everybody else too, before everyone leaves, when the next time we can do this is. And I know we won't be with you. At least I have in my calendar, I cannot get a hold of you for 2 weeks. I will not call you for 2 weeks.
I'll see how it goes. I may have all my emergencies finished. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Unfortunately, everyone waits till the last minute, and this co-hosting thing is a little daunting for people. I squared away a lot of people today, but I don't know what's going to happen. On the weekends, I am 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. I board up and take care of my DJs for those hours.
Okay.
The night of our finale, I'm actually changing to the evening. Someone's going to have to take my regular shifts because I'm doing the Zoom event.
Somebody's got something on. Is that you,
Ruth? I
Gay?
put the meeting note in the chat. I've got to run. He already set up our next 2 rehearsals.
Did we?
Yep.
Yeah, it looks
Okay.
like March 11th and March 18th.
Really?
That's what it says. I'm just reading the chat.
March 11th and March 18th, huh? Okay. All right, great.
Yeah, we talked about that at our last meeting.
I thought that was just really tentative. It's up to me. It's going to depend on whether Gay can. I think Gay is like the linchpin here. If you can do the 11th and the 18th, Gay.
She was in the meeting.
Oh yeah.
I think Gay was in the meeting, weren't you, Gay?
Yeah, I've got him on my calendar.
Okay. I have
And
no
if for
memory.
some crazy reason I'm peaceful and quiet on those evenings, I'll jump in.
Oh, okay,
I just
great.
don't know. I just can't commit because I don't know who's going to have an emergency or move me or. I mean, most of my DJs have their panic attacks in the evening, so it's hard for me to judge. Unfortunately, I'm the tech support or what I refer to as the DJ help desk.
Oh goodness.
So I spend most of my time right now testing the stream in combination with Zoom co-hosts.
Okay, so are we finished? Is this it?
Yeah, I'm gonna
So,
run.
I'll see.
I'm starving.
yeah, I gotta go
Eat.
figure out what an audio board problem for somebody. So
Okay, well, thank you,
Thank you.
Ruth.
you're welcome.
Thank you to the two Ruths. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if you can watch on the 21st for a little bit, and you'll get some drift
Oh,
of
I'd love
how we're
to.
running stuff.
21st.
I'm pretty sure it's the
And-
20. I think that's the last day of our marathon.
And it's at, I wrote it down. What is it, 7 o'clock or something?
Yeah,
yeah,
it
7
starts at
o'clock.
7. It'll start with me running old videos, and then we'll go to the Zoom event, and then back to videos. So you'll see a kind of a variety that way.
Good. Would love to. I've got it in my calendar.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, you're welcome. I'll see you guys.
See
Nice meeting
you.
all.
Thanks for all you guys. Thank you,
Thank
Gay.
you. Hey, what
so-
is that cool thing in the background?
My neon sign.
Yes, I love that. What is it?
I have to update. I bought it when we were doing the tax increase. I was trying to
Oh.
put a sign in a window.
It's great. I loved your show. I was listening to your show today, bits of it. It was wonderful.
Thank you. And so I'm going to turn that into a little documentary. I've got video that goes with it. So I'm going to start publishing that video
Yeah.
version.
You know, remember how we've talked about putting a sign in our window
Yeah.
of our, well, I signed our Hayburn lease the other day, a couple
Did
of
they
days
raise our
ago.
rent?
No, they did not raise our rent,
Oh,
but there
thank
was
God.
specifically a paragraph devoted to, you can't put anything in the window.
Oh, shit.
Leave that for anything that the public can view. You can't.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's okay.
I noticed that.
Yeah, they're probably trying to keep the building looking homogeneous, you know, from the outside.
Yeah,
it
no
doesn't get too-
hippy dippy stuff.
Cluttered. I know.
Politics, none of that radical
Yeah.
indoctrination you guys are doing over there.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
thank you,
guys.
KA. So
Sorry, I
we'll
was
see.
late, Ruth. I
Guys,
just came in from work. It's weird
Oh,
being
yeah.
back at work. Very
Oh,
weird.
I bet.
But it's good. It makes me a little bit more focused than so unfocused.
Well, he's a slave driver.
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be part-time, but I haven't really had a part-time day yet.